Believe me, all the mechanics can operate. Someday I'll learn how to operate it.
What kind is it? Samsung.
Samsung.
Madam Deputy Clerk, it is now 7 o'clock.
This meeting is called to order. Councilwoman Ferraro. Councilwoman Whitfield.
Present.
Councilwoman Worthy.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Henderson.
Present.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Present.
We will now have our prayer by Dr. Christopher Beckman.
Yep.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Bow our heads. Father, we thank you for the privilege to come to the throne of grace, where your word declares we can obtain mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. Lord, we acknowledge tonight that we live in needful times. Thank you for these servants who have committed their time to help lead and guide our town. And I pray, Lord, that you would superintend the conversations tonight, that you would rest, rule, and abide even as we meet tonight, that you would allow peace and love to reign in this community, and that we would shine as beacons of light to the world. So, Lord, have your way is our prayer tonight, that you would meet every need that's recorded, that you would touch from heart to heart, that we would be mindful of our need for you, that you would use us for your kingdom service. Bless every home and every family represented is our prayer. In Jesus' able name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Beckman.
Please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting was provided in the following manner. Advance written notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal complex and was mailed to the Burlington County Times, the Intelligencer, and the Courier Times. Advance written notice of this meeting was filed with the township clerk. The clerk is directed into the minutes, meeting of this public announcement.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Well, good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to have you today on this evening of March 5th. Tonight, we're beginning Women's History Month, so we'll start off with our proclamation by Dr. Worthy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Proclamation, recognition of Women's History Month.
Whereas throughout history, women have driven humanity forward on the path to a more equal and just society, contributing in limitless ways to our character and progress as a people. And whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation and have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social role in every sphere of the life of the nation by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home. And whereas American women have played a unique role throughout the history of the nation by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force and were vitally important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our nation. And whereas American women secured their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity while serving as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement, which includes but not limited to the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all. And whereas American women have served our country courageously in the armed forces and dared to transcend preconceived expectations and prove they were capable of doing all that a man could do and more. And whereas, despite these contributions, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history. And whereas during Women's History Month, we honor the countless women who sacrificed and strived to ensure all people have an equal opportunity to pursue the American dream. Now, therefore, I, Kaya T. McIntosh, Mayor of the Township of Willingboro, do hereby, along with the Township Council, proclaim March as Women's History Month in 2024.
Thank you, Dr. Worthy. And I'd like to acknowledge all our women in the Willingboro Township that do a phenomenal job keeping this town moving. And a special shout out to my council colleagues outside of Deputy Mayor Anderson. But thank you, for all your contributions. We work hard for this town. So happy Women's Month. Moving on to your manager's report, you may proceed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and members of the public. We just have a few updates for this evening. Recently, at the request of the Township, Burlington County completed a traffic study or warrant analysis under the MUTCD to study the traffic patterns at Beverly Rancocas Road and Windsor Lane to determine if it was efficient to put a traffic light there. Based on the number of and the seriousness of accidents that have been occurring at that intersection. The county did include that traffic study, and they did determined that it did not meet any of the 4 warrants for a traffic signal. However, we did go back and have a meeting with the county engineer and our engineer to press our case and to discuss possible alternatives. The result was Burlington County has agreed to install flashing lights on existing roadways there at Beverly Rancocas and Windsor Lane to warn motorists that they are approaching that intersection. And hopefully this will be completed within the next few weeks. Along with that, we did have further conversations regarding the Beverly Rancocas and Rose Street pedestrian crossing signal. Burlington County is preparing to make improvements to the Willingboro Lakes Park, and the county will install a pedestrian crossing signal at that intersection as part of those improvements, which should also be completed sometime in 2024, hopefully in the next 3 to 4 months. But the beauty of that is there will be no cost share to the township to get that accomplished. But we will provide them uniformed police officers to provide traffic control during the construction period. Our ESIP project here in Willingboro is moving right along. They have installed the HVAC units on most of our buildings. They are making plans now to get in and change the air conditioner heating monstrosity that's in the library. Also, the boilers at JFK are being connected. Unfortunately, the gas was disconnected there yesterday and today, so it was a little chilly. But that should be up and running again tomorrow to facilitate that installation. And they are working on the building envelopes on all of our buildings. The library has been completed. When I say the building envelopes, we're talking about door sealing, window sealing. In the Kennedy Center, they're doing roof wall intersection sealing where the roof and the ceiling meets. There's some gaps at the top where they're filling in with some type of foam sealant so the wind doesn't, or the drafts don't get in. And then they're going to be beginning DPW a little later this month. So that project is moving along quite well. And I do believe we are ripe to give them their first payment, which is a bit substantial, but you'll see a resolution for that at our next meeting. As I reported in the past, we did go out for bid for our country club pool repair. We did have 4 contractors or 4 individuals who picked up packets for the bids. But unfortunately, there were none returned today as we had hoped. So we are in discussion with the engineer. They're going to reach out to the 4 bidders and to see what it was that they decided not to submit bids. And then we are considering going immediately back out to bid for a shorter period, maybe 10 days. And then if we fail to get bids there, then we have the ability under state law to negotiate a contract with vendors for that project. So we're going to be continuing to move that forward in an effort to get that pool and Pennypacker Pool open by Memorial Day. We are also preparing a grant application to the New Jersey BPU, which has created a $10,000 community energy plan grant program for municipalities to develop a community energy plan to meet the goals of the state's energy master plan. So we are preparing that application and there will be a resolution for your approval at the next meeting to submit the application. The fiscal year 2024 NJDOT Municipal Aid Project, which is being, we received a grant for $407,425, which is going to go towards the reconstruction of Marshall Lane. The final plans have been prepared and the specs have been submitted to the New Jersey Department of Transportation last week. So we are just waiting for their final approvals, and we anticipate advertising that for spring 2024, which will go right in line with our other road projects that are happening this year. JFK, the Recreation Center proposed improvements that we have received substantial grant monies to. I did receive that information from Pannoni this morning, and I did forward it off to you for your review, and we can have further discussions after everyone has a bit of time to absorb what was presented. I just want to announce that DPW is finished collecting leaves for this season. If anyone still has leaves that they wish to have removed, please bag them and bring them to the DPW yard for disposal. Our financial picture for Willingboro, the revenue generated for the month of February, or as of February 26, is a little bit over $16,603,000, with 16.4 of that being tax revenue. And we did put out a monthly allotment to the Willingboro Board of Education in the amount of $3,273,775.67. The Finance Department, my department heads, the auditors, have been working diligently to fiscally prepare a responsible budget to present to the governing body. Our financial reports have been finalized, and we are moving forward. We're presenting the 2024 budget to the council at the next meeting for introduction. I would just like to announce that the 3rd Annual Citizens Fire Academy will be open for registration on Monday, March the 18th. Classes will meet on Wednesdays from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. From April 24th through June the 12th. That's an 8-week period. The classes will be limited to 15 participants, so please look out for the advertisements that will be released on March the 18th. Also, applications for our Citizens Police Academy are being accepted. The deadline is March 15th. Those classes will be held at the police department Saturday mornings during the month of April. And finally, the Senior Center is offering federal and state income tax preparation services through AARP Tax Aids. They are offering free tax preparation for anyone at any age, but especially if you are 50 or older or you can't afford to pay for tax preparation. You can call the Senior Center to make an appointment, and they are taking appointments on Wednesdays from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And those are just the updates for the community this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Is there any questions or concerns from council? Updates, okay. Oh,
Not a question, but I did just want to thank Mr. Harris for following through on the traffic portion with the county. Those lights are critical to the safety of our community. So thank you for following up and getting that piece done.
You're welcome.
Any other
Could I-
comments or concerns from council? Okay,
Could I just have Ms. Jackson come forward at this time and just announce the activities for
yes,
the?
please.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of council, and all those in attendance. We just want to bring before you that on Saturday, March 16th, we will have our annual egg extravaganza from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This will be at the Kennedy Center. It's a drive-through event open to ages 5 to 12, and participants will drive around. Hoppers will distribute candy and other goodies while supplies last. So hoppers are needed for this event. If you want to distribute or donate candy, please contact the Recreation and Parks Department, and we'd love to hear from you by March 8th. The following weekend, on March 23rd at 10 a.m. and at 10:30 a.m., our younger residents will be invited, ages 3 to 6, to the Egg Huntastic event. And children are invited to bring their favorite bag or basket and join us for this year's Easter egg hunt. And this will occur on the baseball field, and it is a rain or shine event. So again, if you have any questions regarding that event, we ask that you contact the Recreation and Parks Department. You did hear about our Citizen Police Academy, so I'll skip through there. And we want to let you know that we do have 15 spots available for our free CPR and AED class. So if residents are interested in this opportunity, contact our fire department for this. And the class will be held on April 6th and April 27th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we have 15 spots available for that. We also want to remind you that this Friday is the last day to nominate a woman for our 2024 Phenomenal Women Awards event. This event will be held on Sunday, April 27th, and the deadline to submit names is this Friday, March 8th. So if you know someone you consider phenomenal, please make sure you nominate them so they can be considered for this year's event. And you can contact the Recreation and Parks Department or visit our website for more information. And lastly, but certainly not least, we want to remind you of our Spring Clean Communities Cleanup event, which is Saturday, April 20th. We're excited. We hope you are too. So we're inviting everybody to join us to come together and clean and beautify our community. More information will be forthcoming, but we just want to make sure you have that date before you and plan to join us. And as always, this information is on our website, social media platforms, our YouTube channel, and by subscribing to Willingboro Weekly. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Okay. Before we proceed, I just want to say for the record, or put on the record, that Councilwoman Perone is present. And we can move on, Mr. Harris, with our resolutions.
Yeah, so the resolutions, there are no ordinances before you this evening for your consideration, but the resolutions are as follows. Resolution number 2024-58 is a resolution that is authorizing the overpayment of taxes, which is pretty standard. Resolution 2024-59 is a resolution of the Township Council for Willingboro providing for the designation of certain this is a house cleaning resolution. There's three things that we needed to accomplish in this resolution. First, we needed to designate an official newspaper for the municipality. This is usually done earlier in the year, but with the transition of municipal clerks, We never got an official newspaper designated. So we are designating the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Trenton Times, and Courier Post as the newspapers to receive notices under the Open Public Meetings Act. We are also doing a dedication by rider to in the amount of $500 for the utilization of the Department of Public Works to make small purchases as a petty cash fund, and then designating Michelle Boynton to manage those the cash down in the department. Also, the township manager and the CFO are hereby authorizing or will hereby be authorized and directed to approve refunds between the different departments, being recreation, their program fees, tax refunds, residential property taxes due, appeals, refund for duplicate payments or overpayments, and cancellation of building and inspection permits during the year of 2024. All of these activities do have to be ratified by the township council before they are executed, but it's just giving the authority to do the administrative work behind to effectuate those payments after the council has approved them. And also, it is authorizing the tax collector to discontinue the collection of interest for taxes in sums less than 50 cents. So those are the four things that will be accomplished through that particular resolution. Resolution number 2024-60 is a resolution approving the final closeout for the Buckingham Drive culvert repairs and accepting the maintenance bond. That project was deemed substantially complete as of January 31st, 2023. And it is accepting the maintenance bond from Think Pavers in the amount of $111,828. Which will be held for a period of 2 years from the date of substantial completion, or until further release by the governing body. Resolution number 2024-61 is approving the final closeout for the NJDOT FY 2021 municipal aid project, which was the Pennypacker Drive Phase 2 pavement project. This work was also substantially deemed complete back on June 1st of 2023. This is authorizing the final closeout and the acceptance of the maintenance bond for Think Pavers in the amount of $201,025.64, which also will be held for a period of 2 years or until further release by the governing body. Resolution number 2024-62 is authorizing the Township of Willingboro to place municipal charges on certain properties for failing to address property maintenance violations. We do this when they have been violated and have failed to abate those properties. We will go and do the repairs necessary or do the abatement necessary, and then pay the expense and then put a lien on the property. And that is what we are asking you to authorize us to do. Resolution number 2024-63 is awarding a construction services contract for the 2023 Segment 4 roadway improvement. This has been a program that we have been working on for well over 2 years. We have designated 12 roads in Willingboro that we are going to go ahead and repave. They are the 12 worst roads in the township. We received funding through the New Jersey I-Bank in the sum of just a little over $3.5 million to do this project. For our good, the bids came in substantially lower than that, ranging from $1,523,513 to $1,635,069. So we are asking the governing body to award a contract with Earl Asphalt Company in the amount of $1,523,513. And then we are going to look into utilizing the additional fundings to go ahead and complete 10 more additional roads. Resolution number 2024-64 is a resolution authorizing the township to award construction service contract for Broido Park improvements. Broido Park received a $100,000 grant a few years ago. The township did contribute matching funds to that project. The project had to go out and be engineered. The equipment was purchased, and now we are ready to go ahead and move with the construction and installation phase. So we are asking that a contract be awarded to Seacoast Construction from East Brunswick in the amount of $111,000 for this project, which has been funded through prior capital bonds. Resolution number 2024-66 is a resolution authorizing the payment of vouchers for their payment and ratification. Resolution number 2024-69, and I know there are some gaps in the sequencing, but there were some items that were removed from the agenda for various reasons. Resolution number 2024-69 is a resolution accepting the tax collector's annual report. The tax collector is required by law to submit an annual statement of receipts to the governing body, and this is her report for 2023. Resolution number 2024-70 is another resolution authorizing an overpayment of taxes. I believe this resolution was supposed to have been on the last agenda, but for technical difficulty, it just got missed over. So we're asking that those be approved as well. Resolution number 2024-71 is awarding a contract to Pannoni Associates for the provision of professional engineering services to the township in relation to the Segment 4 roadway. When Pannoni first submitted their proposal 2 years ago, we did go ahead and award them a contract for the design and engineering and bidding phase in the amount of $231,000 or close thereto. And this was the second portion, which was the construction management and review phase. So now that the construction work is going to actually begin, we're going to ask you to authorize the contract to Pannoni in the amount of $313 for those purposes. Resolution number 2024-72 is a resolution establishing a not-to-exceed amount for the planning board engineer, who is C.A. Turner Engineering Consultants and Associates for the year 2024. And the planning board is asking that you set a not-to-exceed amount in the amount of $8,000 for the planning board. Resolution number 2024-73 is a resolution establishing the not-to-exceed amount for the planning board solicitor. The planning board solicitor this year is Cooper Levinson, and they had submitted bids, and they're asking for them to be awarded a not-to-exceed amount of $15,000 for those purposes. Resolution number 2024-74 is very similar, asking for you to establish the not-to-exceed amount for the Zoning Board of Adjustment solicitor, who is Matthew B. Let's go. Okay. And again, that amount is $15,000. And the not-to-exceed amount for the planning or the Zoning Board of Adjustment engineer under resolution number 2024-75, which is CME Associates for the year of 2024. And they are asking that you establish a not-to-exceed amount in the amount of $8,000. So just a point of clarity, the planning board and zoning board do have the statutory authority to appoint their own engineer and professionals. However, the council does fund those appointments. So that's what you're actually doing, is just putting the monetary behind their choice for engineer and solicitors for 2024. Resolution number 2024-76 is the award of a liquor license to RMT Holdings LLC, doing business in Willingboro Township as 1911 Smokehouse. So they're finally going to get their liquor license. If the solicitor has any comments to that.
No, that's pretty much it. Everything will be submitted to ABC for their review and final approval.
And that is all of the business before you for consideration this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. We just have one more that was just added, and that's resolution 2024-77, which is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Willingboro, providing for the appointment of the Oprah and substitute conflict prosecutor attorney. There was one submission for each. So for Oprah, we have Florio, Perucci, Steinhardt, Capelli, and Tipton. And substitute conflict prosecutor, we have KGMG Law Group. So that's also on one of our resolutions for consideration. Okay. After that, we will now open up for public comment for agenda items only. You have 2 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. If you have any discussion or concerns for agenda items only. Host, is there anyone online?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. Seeing none, public comment for agenda items is now closed. I'd like to ask council if there's any resolutions they would like to take out for further discussion.
Just the last added one regarding the professionals.
Okay. Any other ones? Okay, I make a motion for a consent agenda for resolutions 2024-58.
Second?
Oh, sorry. I was ready. Through resolutions 2024-76. Second. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Malone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve that consent agenda.
So second.
Thank you. Moved by Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield.
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Okay, we have this last one. No, I'm sorry. Is there a motion for resolution 2024-77?
Second.
So moved.
So move.
Second?
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Discussion, please?
Discussion.
Yes.
So with the Oprah attorneys, I did review their application and their fees. My question is just relating to a few different things. One, are we gonna do a not to exceed? I didn't see it in here. And then number two, are they doing all of the Oprahs, or is there a certain criteria whereby the clerk's department would need to send it over in order for us to maintain and kind of control our spending for this? Because I know, I don't know how many Oprahs we get, but I know that we do kind of get quite a few, and I'm just trying to get an understanding how we're going to control. So those are my two questions.
Deputy Clerk, do you have an answer? Which Oprahs do all Oprahs go to the Oprah attorney or just some?
It would be if there's questions or concerns that the clerk's office cannot answer, then it will be forwarded to the attorney. And that would be visible.
Okay,
So
so
all Oprahs?
what you said all Oprahs that the clerk's office cannot answer.
Yeah.
So by that, so I can clarify, do you mean like documents that are not in the building or has to do more with law?
Yes.
Something gets more detailed about legalities? Okay, okay.
And so we still would have to establish a not to exceed,
Right.
regardless.
So,
And then we just have to look at the previous,
what it was last
what
time?
it was,
Just-
and then where we, where we netted out, because I know, the process didn't change from last year, so I think we did utilize them for every.
Was it
over-
every, or was it some of them?
Every,
Yeah,
just
okay.
even if, and they have to be, more involved on some than others,
Mhm.
but their eye went across all of them, I believe.
Okay, so I'm hoping that we don't have to do that. I know we're about to do our interviews, because it is part of the clerk's department to do that. So I think maybe we should have some sort of like measurement as, Ms. Latoya, just described, legalities, something more, where we need eyes on for an attorney, but, go ahead. That was all.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to add, what I've seen too is that the clerk's office would take the first review, they look at it and answer it as best as they could and thinking that it's complete, and then the Oprah attorney would review it. So it wouldn't be that it all comes in
Just goes
and
straight
just
to
gives it
them.
straight to the
Right.
Oprah attorney.
Okay,
They're just doing a final check, like if something needs to be redacted or, if they missed something in there, they would look at that. But the clerk's office does like the bulk of the work,
Right.
and then the Oprah attorney is like the final look before it's submitted back.
okay. So the Oprah attorney always looks at all of the Oprahs anyway? Is that what you're, are you just saying as far as what goes to them?
From
I'm
what
talking
I-
about what goes to them. I don't know if every
Okay.
single Oprah goes to the Oprah attorney,
Okay.
but I know that they give it a once over. Whatever's
Mhm.
sent to them, they give it a once over. They're not starting from scratch. Like the
Okay.
initial request isn't going straight to the.
Got it. Okay, so we'll do the not to exceed later, at a later date.
Right, and that, actually for the next meeting, can you write that down, for our next meeting, so we can just have that? I don't know if, Ms. UC, or Ms. Diggs, who does the resolution for not to exceed?
Yeah.
Ms. Diggs, okay, so we'll just look for that, we have the Oprah attorney and the special, I'm sorry. the
Substitute.
Conflict prosecutor. All right, is that all? Anything else for discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ferrell,
Yes,
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Okay, also. Front sheet. All right, we need the treasurer report. Or treasurer for approval.
Make a motion. And we have a motion to approve the treasurer's report. So moved.
Second?
Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ferrell,
yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Treasurer's report is now approved.
Approval of minutes.
Is there a motion to approve minutes for January 30th, 2024?
So moved. Second?
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ferrell,
Yes,
Councilwoman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. And just to note, for January 2nd and January 19th, there were just some corrections that needed to be made. So we did not approve those today. They'll be up for approval at our next meeting. Okay, Madam Deputy Clerk, you can move on to your update.
Okay. So, for the month of January, the clerk's office received 1,131 calls. 1,183 calls were made. There were 9 mercantile licenses totaling $261.35. There were 163 dog licenses totaling $2,034. There were 55 Cobras submitted. There were 4 bids for the month of January, and there's 1 bingo and raffle for your consideration from Corpus Christi. Also, there's a clerk update for the month of February. There were 1,014 calls received. There were 1,165 calls made. There were 12 mercantile licenses. There were 1 liquor license. There were 47 dog licenses processed, totaling $1,054. There were 47 Oprahs submitted. There were 5 bids. And there was, in January, like I said, the 1 bid in January. That is all for the closed today.
And do you need anything from us for the bingo?
Yes, if you guys could please approve the bingo and raffle for Corpus Christi.
I make a motion to approve the bingo license, is it license?
Raffle.
Raffle, for Corpus Christi.
So, second?
All right, moved by Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Strong,
Yes.
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 Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to unfinished business. Is there anything for unfinished business? Councilwoman Perone?
I wanted to know an update on the trash contract bids. Where are we? Do we have any update on that?
Those trash contract bids are out, required by law to be out for 60 days, so they won't be back until the very end of March, very early April.
Okay, to your knowledge, have we received anything? Okay, the other, under unfinished business, I recognize that, well, first, we all know, Willingboro is a predominantly veterans community, and we used to have a veteran service officer. For those who don't know what that position is, it's a person or department that assists veterans with a multitude of different things when it comes to housing, health benefits, you name it, as far as living. And we currently do not have one. So I'm asking the council to support me in giving some direction to the township manager to reestablish and have a veteran service officer back in Willingboro. So that's a motion for discussion under new business, unfinished business. That's all I have.
So the motion.
So the motion is to, I'll restate my motion. The motion is to rehire or appoint or establish a veteran service officer back in Willingboro. That's the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded by, moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Further discussion, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Worthy?
I do support exploring what this could look like in the context of looking at the reorganization for the township. There are a lot of departments, I think, that need to be restructured. And so I think in the context of looking at what the municipality could look like going forward, I do think that looking into that VSO, where it could fit, like under what department, how does it fit into the structure? But I'm open to the township manager exploring that. But I also want him to continue to look at what the restructure of the municipality would look like and how that position fits in.
No, I agree.
Can I add on to something? that you
Yes.
said? And I actually agree with, I agree with you, Councilman Worthy. And initially, and we probably could revisit if we want to make some changes, but I believe initially it was under the Veterans Affairs Department.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure exactly what that department looks like currently, but maybe we could have something at the JFK Center where, because I know we have a few of our veterans offices there, like, organizations there. So maybe it's an appropriate place to have like an office station there. But again, that goes into looking into it. Maybe we can just like agree to have Mr. Harris look into that and just get back to us to see what does that look like.
Right, and I like to approach it holistically how it fits into the whole organization.
Mhm.
I know it was listed on our website for quite a time, but I don't know if it was being appropriately accommodated for our veterans. So we just want to make sure that it fits into what we're trying to do. That's my opinion.
Mhm.
But I'm okay with supporting, looking into that,
Okay.
definitely.
All right.
Any
I
other
agree.
council members? Okay, so,
Anything else to add?
okay. So we'll do a roll call because we made a motion.
Okay.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield,
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Any other items for unfinished business? Yeah, Dr. Worthy?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Harris, thank you for following up with Panoni for them helping us to look at the JFK Center and the site with all the different proposals, the track and fields and pickleball courts and what are the pickleball courts? Well, with all the different pieces. Yeah, okay, all those different components and the parking. I'll just ask that Panoni specify as they're helping us with particularly the track and field. That part is really important to me to make sure that we have somebody who's working alongside them,
Okay.
who knows about track and field so that we don't get far along into the project and realize that it's not meeting the specifications that we need to be able to run AAU meets, and to make sure that it's USA Track and Field certified. And I've mentioned this on the record before, and I'm stating it again because I think it's important that Panoni understand that we're not spending this kind of money on a track and field just to have, track and field. Like, it's not just for kicks. We want to be able to run official meets. It's the home of Carl Lewis, the home of many Olympians, Lamont Smith and others. And we have to make sure that this project is done right. So I appreciate the work that they've done. I did notice that what they submitted in terms of pricing included the lowest level track, which is exactly what we said we did not want. So it triggered me a bit. I need them to make sure that they are really paying attention to this because the community is investing a significant amount of money into the turf field and the track, and it has to be done right. That's all, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any further items for unfinished business? Okay, moving on to new business. Any items for new business? I'd just like to say, we did receive all our applications for the clerk, so in executive session, we will just be discussing where we want to go with that and what we're going to consider an interview schedule and things of that sort, just to get that moving. We can move on to public comment. Public comment is now open. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 4 minutes. Public comment is now open. Anyone online for public comment?
Yes, Mayor. Maddie Mallory.
Good evening. Maddie Mallory, Hudson Place. And I was reminded by the mayor at the last meeting that the public comment section or portion was limited to 4 minutes. However, if memory serves me correctly, when the pickleball discussion came up, it was more than 4 minutes. So if we're going to say 4 minutes, let's make it 4 minutes for everyone. My other statement has to do with the fact that being an octogenarian and a soldier for civil rights, I was, not to use the word upset, but I guess appalled to hear an elected official of this council use the words petty and messy in the last 2 meetings in her comment about the taxpayers of this community. I feel that her comments were unprofessional and disrespectful due to the fact that you're talking about your constituents, and many of these citizens of this town probably voted for this council person. And for her to use those two words, that our comments and our concerns are petty and messy, is something that we should seriously look at. The other thing is, I would suggest that the citizens continue to be petty and messy, because we pay our taxes, we pay our utilities. I'm a 51-year resident of this community, and I'm just really concerned. I was not allowed to finish my presentation on the Black history, but I would like to suggest that if you have the time, that you Google, as your generation does at this time, the Orangeburg Massacre, because we're talking about 3 young, as we were considered at that time, colored young men who were actually murdered on the campus of South Carolina State. And of course, a copy of this book should be in the library, because when the late librarian director, Christine King, was the director of the library, I requested that she order a copy of this book, and it is in the library. And if not, you can always Google the Orangeburg Massacre, 1968, and you can read for yourself all of those things that led up to the fact that these 3 young colored, as we were known at that time, individuals were murdered, and all of the events leading up to what caused this. Of course, there were those who said that, other individuals were the instigators, and this is why it happened. But if you read for yourself, you will find out all of the events that occurred leading up to their murders. And on that note, I'm finished for this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Mallory. Anyone else online for public comment?
Yes, Mayor. Shirley Dilworth.
Good evening, everyone. Shirley Dilworth, Newport Lane. Okay, I have an announcement that I'd like to, share with the council and share with the community. I'm a member of the Willenboro Friends of the Public Library. And on Saturday, April 27th, we are having our spring book sale. And I'm inviting the entire community to come out to support us, to be a part of our annual book sale. The book sale will be held at the Willenboro Public Library. And I think all of you probably know where the library is located. And the time of the book sale is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The purpose of the book sale, okay, we generate funds. The Friends of the Willenboro Public Library generate funds, through various projects, and these funds go to assist our library in doing various activities or making certain purchases for either the children's library or whatever the needs are. So I hope the entire community will be available to come out to support us, for our book sale. And again, that date is April 27th, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you, and I hope to see all of you there.
Thank you, Ms. Dilworth.
All right, Beulah Williams.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor and Council, Township Manager, and everyone. Good evening. I want to thank the council, the manager as well for the report. Very comprehensive. And I say it every week. I think the council and the mayor, they're working hard for our community, and we really appreciate you. We appreciate the invitation that was extended to the council, the mayor and everybody. And they respectfully, who couldn't come, respectfully responded that, unfortunately we can't. So I appreciate the feedback and so on. Especially appreciate our township manager. He prayed, and the prayer was so inspirational. Each person felt as if the prayer was prayed just individually. It was comprehensive and inspiring. It was for our Black History Day of service. And also Mr. Weston, he was invited to represent the NAACP, and he couldn't attend, but he got Dr. Saluki, which we know very well was supported our health ministry before and so on. So she came and did the scripture reading. So we appreciate Mr. Weston and Dr. Saluki as well as our township manager and our council. I'm not sure if the manager or township manager said the work in Buckingham Park has been completed, because there's some potholes on the corner of Bayberry and Buckingham, and they've been there for quite a while. So please address those. Maybe I misunderstood when I thought you said all the work has been completed. So yeah. I had several things to say, but now that I'm on, that's escaped my mind. But oh, I want to remind you that each Tuesday we host a health workshop, inspirational health program on Zoom. My daughter, when she gets on, she'll give you the Zoom address. Informative subjects. So please, if you can come on Zoom. I chose to skip it because I wanted to be on the township. My time is up? Oh, okay.
Minute. Ms. Williams, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. Yes. And Ms. Williams, if you can hear us and you can speak, I still need your address for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. 8 Botany Circle in Willingboro.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So thank you, everyone. I know I forgot a few things, but that's what the memory does. So thank you all very much. Continue. May the Lord bless you and your household as we work together. For the Black History Month, I guess we committed ourselves to work hand in hand with council, with our churches, for our community, because our motto at the Willingboro Seventh-day Adventist Church is serving the community with love and compassion. And that's what I see with our township. Ms. Williams,
time is up.
So thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, Martin Knock.
Good evening, everyone. Martin Knock, Windsor Lane. I want to particularly thank council for taking up the banner of the light at the corner of Windsor Lane and Beverly Rancocas. I really do. It was something that I couldn't get done because the excuses given to me was that there was a hill and they couldn't put a light at the base of the hill coming from Martin Luther King Boulevard down to drive down to Windsor Lane, because it would create a traffic program. a problem. That's what exactly the county engineer told me several years ago when we had a rash of accidents. But I would like to say to the mayor and the township manager, I think what will really help is that there's a dead tree. Uh, the first tree on the, I believe, the township property. If that could be removed, that would open up a line of sight down to the curve where Produce Junction is. And I would also say for the low cars that come down to the bottom, that's low, not an SUV, that even remove the park signage that I helped to create, I think it's maybe 20 years ago, and pay for it, and maybe just put it on the other side, but it is also very dirty, and I just think it's an eyesore at this point in life. There were two of them, maybe the other one is in the warehouse somewhere, that you could bring back and put on the other side because you don't have the same issue. You just have the issue to the left. I have spoken to the mayor, I have spoken to Mr. Tunsil about it, but we just had another near miss. I was a car behind it. It's just a crazy intersection because they just go out and go out too far, and they had an accident that I didn't know prior to the meeting that we had. But it is to the left, and I've gone over this with Mr. Tunsil at least, and he said may or may not be a problem, but anything to clean up the line of sight so there, you know, just in case county turns us down again, will be very, very helpful. And I do appreciate it, and I think it was Dr. Tiffany Worthy, Councilwoman, who was really on top of this. I couldn't get it done, so I deeply appreciate that, because last thing I want to come out and see a fatal accident at that intersection. And we have been very close, and we have been very lucky, unless there has been one that I'm unaware of. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Knott.
Tarina Williams.
Thank you. Tarina Williams, 8 Botany Circle. Good evening, Mayor McIntosh, Deputy Mayor Anderson, Councilwoman Worthy, Councilwoman Perone, and Councilwoman Whitfield, Mr. Harris, and Deputy Township Clerk, and of course our residents. I want to extend special Happy Women's History Month to our dedicated women on our own council, as well as the officials and officers of the Township of Willingboro. There are too many great women that if I were to call names, my time would elapse. So I just want to say special thanks to all your hard work and dedication. I admire that you give it your all. And whenever there's pictures posted on the township page, Facebook page, or the newsletter, we can always see whether it be one or two or all, if need be, if it's possible, supporting the variety of activities and special causes of the township. May God richly bless you and your family for all the time and hard work that you do. I really appreciate the proclamation made for Women's History Month, and wanted to also inform you and any other resident on attending this meeting that March is Autoimmune Awareness Month, as well as Nutrition Month, as I'm sure you know. The reason why I selected Autoimmune Awareness Month, though, that there are more than 100 autoimmune diseases that affect 80% of the people living with, and 80% of the people living with them are females. I can attest to this because I have lupus, one of the autoimmune diseases. So please, if you don't already know about autoimmune diseases, I would encourage you to surf the web and learn more about them, because the more we know, the better we'll grow and educate one another on how we can avoid getting these diseases. What was that? And can be of service to educating each other on what to do and where to go. My mom extended special thanks, but I want to express my thanks to so many people for attending Willingboro SDA Church's Black History Month service on the 27th of February. On the 24th of February. It was a great service. Thank you so much to Mr. Harris for doing the prayer. Thank you so much for it being posted on the township newsletter. We greatly appreciate seeing that along with the other Black History Month programs as we commemorated Black history. Thank you so much, Dr. Saluki, for doing the scripture reading. Thank you so much, Reverend Geralda of the St. Paul United Methodist Church, as we portrayed different characters from the past as well as current Black Americans who are serving in different capacities. She portrayed Zipporah, and it was so nice having so many people of different generations commemorate such an important month of the year, where it's not just Black history, it's American history that is so often than not acknowledged. But as Mr. Harris said, let us not just acknowledge it during the month of February. Let's take a look at our history throughout the entire year. My mom mentioned the health talk that we have. It's on our church's Zoom. The meeting ID is 871-0209-5223, and the passcode is Adventist, capital ADVNTIST. Thank you so much for your time. May God richly bless each one of you, individually and collectively as a body. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
You're welcome.
Good evening, council,
Good evening.
the residents of Willingboro. I'm gonna just start off by piggybacking on what Mr. Martin had said. For myself, I was blessed to survive an accident right there at Windsor and Belly Rancocas. Coming out of there, thank God I was in a F-150 pickup truck. I was rear-ended by a woman doing 75 miles an hour. At the peak of that hill, there is a blind spot, so someone speeding, even if it looks clear, you come out, boom. So I thank God for that. The police came out and saved me, and that was a good thing. Second of all, I'd like to thank council tonight for making a motion and passing a resolution. Hopefully we'll get that done to get the much needed service officer back here in Willingboro. I remember several meetings ago, Dr. Worthy asked me to come up when there was a problem with a veteran with the housing, when a relative wanted to purchase. Y'all were able to resolve that night. You know, you called me up, we had a resolution to say, hey, let's look back to when he became 100% retroactive. And that's what y'all did. Just like that, 26,000 was removed and the son was able to take over the property. So I thank y'all for that, because we all have pet peeves, and y'all all know mine's the veterans. I'm hoping one day that we are able to, again, maybe purchase some of these foreclosed properties, get them renovated, get some veterans in it, bring them back in the community, because right now it's very, very difficult to afford a home here in Willingboro. It's a good thing that our property values are going up, but it's hard for a young veteran to move here. I mean, you're looking at what, a mortgage, $3,000, $2,500, whatever. So hopefully we can look at those type of things. And the other thing I wanted to touch on was, we've been talking about it at a few meetings, and that's the reestablishing the ethics board. I think it's something that's needed. I did put an application in. It's something that is in place, but we just don't have people so that we can all be accountable. We talk at these meetings about transparency. We talk about integrity, all these things that as leaders, we're supposed to be accountable. You know, I'm here for the community. I mean, I see some good things being done in the community. Y'all know my thing was bring back a better Willingboro. When I rode by my old section, Hawthorne, I see that now the kids over there have fiberglass backboards on their courts, but the pool area is still a mess. I mean, we got the cover over, but it's stuff thrown in there, but we are doing things. And I recognize the good and not so good. So y'all are doing things, and I appreciate that as a resident, because I didn't just come here. You know, Mr. Tunsil know I lived 4 houses I was blessed with, having here in Willenboro. 14 Hinsdale, 29 Hepburn, 42 Barker, and 44 Woodhaven. That's my address for the record too, 44 Woodhaven Lane. But I'd just like to thank council tonight for doing what y'all doing. I hope that we can get this ethics board established. I think it's needed. I hope that y'all continue to work together. You know, one day I'd like to see Councilman Perone be mayor. I don't know how y'all rotate and do things, but you know, we talk about being inclusive and being on one page. I mean, we still got work to do, all of us, you, me, and the whole community. So I just want to thank you for your time, and God bless everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Brantley. And I do see Miss Holly's hand raised on the Zoom.
Hello, council. Sarah Holly, 9 Tioga Lane. I missed the first part of the meeting because I was actually on a meeting. And I had a little difficulty finding the login for this meeting. I went to the website, the township's website, and on the website, you guys were quick to publish YouTube, that the residents could watch the council meeting on YouTube. But you're real slick with that, because if you're on YouTube, you can't speak. There's no option there to speak. I suggest that you publish the Zoom login so that people can click on the login so that they could actually speak publicly at the meeting. You can't do that on YouTube, but I know you guys already know that. Also, from last meeting, I just would like for this council to know that every quarter, when I pay my bill, my tax bill that is, that payment gives me the right to be messy, to be petty, to whine, to complain about anything that's going on in this township. And that's anybody else that pay taxes in this town. It gives them the right. So you sit up there and you throw your little shade after people have spoken about petty, messy, whining, and complaining. And to my Delta sister, Shirley Chisholm not only talked about whining and complaining, you need to go and look up some more of her quotes, because she spoke about a lot more than that. So as long as I still live at 9 Tioga, I will continue to pay my taxes, continue to pay my water bill on time, and I will continue to be messy and petty and whine and complain about those issues that are important to me. Thank you, and have a pleasant Women's History Month, because I enjoyed Black History Month last month. So thank you, council. Good night.
Thank you, Ms. Holly. Is there anyone else on for public comment? All right, seeing none, public comment is now closed. Mr. Harris. There were some comments. I'm just gonna go through the ones that need addressing from your office. I'm gonna say Miss Williams started with potholes at Bayberry and Buckingham.
Yeah, so DPW is out beginning the pothole repair season. So they will be out in all of our communities beginning to repair those potholes. So we'll make a special note and have that taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, Mr. Knock, he did indicate that there's maybe a dead tree impeding visibility. Let me just make sure we take a look at that and have a report back.
So we actually did talk about that tree at our directors meeting this morning, and the directive to cut it down has already been given.
And also the signage that looks, it looks pretty bad on the corner. The Willenboro sign. I don't know if we can remove that also. Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Brantley, we did it, we acknowledged the VSO, looking into that. The Ethics Board, we're still in the process of at this point, we don't have one, we just don't. Yeah, let me just finish. We don't have one, and then in lieu of that, we are able to do the local I just want to make sure the local finance.
Yeah, under Title 40A, if you do not have a municipal ethics board, the jurisdiction is retained by the local finance board if there are any ethics complaints or issues.
Okay. And when I say we don't have one, I know there's one in the ordinance, but that it's not populated. And we did go through seeing what we needed to populate that. And at this point, we don't even have enough people to even populate it, even with the 2 people that put in. But Councilwoman Perone.
Yes, and you were right, Madam Mayor. We do have one. It's been dormant, and it is underneath 34-7 under our codes, and it's identified as Ethical Standards Board Established Membership Terms and Compensation Hearings. Not to read the entire document, but it says here that I'm looking at it on my phone. I closed my computer down, but it says there that there shall be. The members of the board shall be appointed by the township council. It says that the members shall be chosen by virtue of their own reputation and integrity of the local government affairs. No more than 3 members of any same party shall be elected. I am looking at my phone, so it's a little crunched, but the other thing that it says in here is that we're supposed to have at the minimum 6 members to be elected, or not elected, I'm sorry, appointed by the township council. And it also describes 5-year term, 2-year term. And it's very similar to the MUA, how we appoint commissioners and then they serve a term. So because we have 2 applicants that have applied, it doesn't mean that they are denied. It just means that we need 4 more people to apply, which, by the way, I'm not sure of their political party of the individual who applied. However, they would need, and I believe that they may be Democrat, so therefore would only be allowed for 1 more Democrat, and then you'd have to have 3 Republican applicants or independents. So I just want to make sure that the information that we're putting out there is not that it doesn't exist. We need more people to I think Miss Mallory spoke about it. I think Mr. Brantley spoke about it this evening. So if you know of anyone who's interested that are of additional parties, Republican or independent party, that's what would need to happen, and they would need to put their application in. There are 4 more positions that are still available, and at that time, then the council can vote to appoint the individuals to that seat. There's nothing else additional that we need to do as a council because it already exists in Willingboro. We just need applicants. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perone. Anyone else have any statement on that? Okay. And lastly, Ms. Holly with the login and Zoom. We just looked it up and it's on there. So I just want to make sure it's always on there. Make sure that all residents have access to the Zoom. We just did look and it's on there. So we just want to make sure that it's always on there because the intention is for all residents to be able to log in and be a part of this meeting. So, and I think that's it. Anything else? Did I miss anything from any of the residents? All right, moving on to council comment. Does any council have any comment tonight?
Just want to thank everybody for coming out. Have a good evening.
Okay. Dr. Worthy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In the spirit of Women's History Month, I am so excited to be a proud legacy member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and also to come from women who have taught me to work graciously with tact and decorum, sophistication and elegance, and not to be threatened by those who may be louder and consistently louder. I am excited to represent my family well and my community well. I'm fine with disagreements and us not necessarily being on the same accord all the time, but I will continue to lead the community and to support my colleagues and the residents with decorum and professionalism from whatever I have to say from the dais or my interactions in the community. And while there are people who severely strain the powers of endurance, whether they participate live or online, it's my job to make sure that I serve all the constituents and that I provide information and resources, which I will continue to always do. And I encourage our young people to take note and to model their behaviors after those that they one day want to be like, and to create the standard of excellence and professionalism that they want to see in the community that they're creating for their future. It's always wonderful to be able to serve the residents of Willingboro, and I look forward to continuing to do so, not just during Women's History Month, but every single day. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Worthy.
Madam Mayor, just one thing.
Yes. Councilwoman Perone?
Yes, thank you. And good evening, everyone. Thank you all for participating in this meeting this evening. Your comments, suggestions, and presence greatly appreciated. It does help all of us to be able to make decisions for our community. With that said, the only thing I wanted to add is, and if it's not already up there, with regards to the book sale at the library, is that on Facebook? If it's not, can we put it on our Facebook feed and our website? This way, the public library is having a book sale. If it's not up there, if we can just post that there to let everyone know that this event is coming up. That was all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perone.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. I did want to say Happy Women's History Month to my council colleagues, our solicitor, our deputy clerk, and all of the wonderful ladies that make Willingboro run. It is not an easy feat to be in these chairs and to lead this community with grace and poise as we do, but we take up that charge and we are strong, determined, and dedicated women that help this community be the best that it can be. So thank you to all the women that make that possible each day. I do want to just give 2 reminders for the community cleanup on April 20th. It's always wonderful to see you all out there helping to make our community a more beautiful place by pitching in and helping to clean up. So I look forward to seeing you all on April 20th at that event. Last year, we raffled off a lawnmower. So if you're if you're in the, there may be some other prizes and things that you can win this year. And we're looking forward to keeping Willingboro clean for another year. As well as the volunteer fair. So this community doesn't run without your help and your support. And there are so many countless organizations that need your support and your involvement to continue to create a vibrant, thriving community here in Willingboro. So that volunteer fair will take place at the JFK Community Center on April 27th from 1:30 to 4:30. And we look forward to seeing you there to sign up to volunteer your time in one or multiple of the many organizations that we have here in the community. Don't forget to download the Willingboro Connect app to stay connected and sign up for our newsletter. And that is all I have tonight.
Thank you, Councilwoman Whitfield. And I'll just make this quick. I do want to say I'm so happy to see everyone tonight. And I just to make sure we do participate in the activities that are happening this month. I do believe it's crucial that we interact as a community on different levels. And, even with the disagreements, it's still one love and we have to focus on that. And I'll stand by that every time. I do believe in this community. And I absolutely love this community, but I do believe that we are going in the right direction and that we can do better within ourselves. So with that, continue to love one another and have a great, great night. Yeah, executive session. I'm sorry. We do have executive session.
Yes, executive session tonight for matters involving personnel and contracts.
Yes, thank you. And to say the resolution.
Is there a motion for executive session?
So move.
Second?
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilwoman Whitfield. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield.
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Mr. Harris, we're just gonna go in executive session real quick, just to talk about some clerk stuff and just touch the SOP real quick. And then we'll have you in.
Our air is in there while we're breathing. It's like,
Yeah, it was.
yeah, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh.
Court on this side of the building is all controlled by one thermostat in my office.
Oh, wow.
So when my offices are off, then everything in that perimeter is off.
I mean, technically, we could sit out here if nobody's out here too, right?
Right. That's true.
Like going forward, if nobody's out here, you know, when we go in, sometimes they're here, right?
All right, we're back on.
Motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Dr. Worthy. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Perrone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Whitfield.
Yes.
Councilwoman
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. I make a motion for adjournment. Moved by Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Mm-mm.
Thank you. Great. Have a
Good night,
great day.
Willingboro.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you so much.